Well, how's it going there? Thought I'd just have a bit of a chat. It's been on my mind lately that even with social media and everything else, that the world is perhaps becoming a bit of a lonely place for a lot of people. Not sure what your situation is, but whether you're in a small apartment or on a property with lots of land around you or big city, doesn't really matter. A lot of lonely people sort of wondering, okay, well, what's the next step in life? A question I think we all sort of ask ourselves sometimes. Nobody has all the answers, but I remember years ago, back in the 80s, I purchased a 50-acre property on the top of a mountain in Victoria, Australia, which is, you know, down south, fairly cold. By the way, meant to tell you, here I am in tropical Queensland right now. That's another story how I got here. I'll share that with you on another video. But yeah, back in just out of Ballarat, it was an interesting time. I was there for a few years and couldn't afford a house, but there was an old shearing shed on the property. There were bush rats walking along the rafters and strange noises outside, tin rattling, possums running around, a few snakes here and there. Didn't seem to bother me too much. But it was a lonely time in a lot of respects, but when I think of it, it was a growing time. And I think if you're on your own now and you're perhaps wondering what's the next season in your life, maybe look at it now as a growing time where you grow as a person. It gives you a chance to perhaps not worry about other people quite as much in your life, which sounds a bit selfish, but sometimes I think we need to do that. Perhaps it's an opportunity for you to make new friendships if that's what you want to do, but give yourself time. You don't have to rush into it. And, you know, be grateful for some of the small things. It might be just a walk. You know, things that you don't necessarily have to pay a lot of money for. I know some people that are on their own, they go out on cruises and they do this and that, and I think that's good, but I think for a lasting life lesson sometimes, it's okay to be on your own. And it's okay to listen to your own heartbeat. And it's only a season. And believe me, another season will come along. I remember reading Enid Blyton's The Faraway Tree when I was a kid. And it stuck with me that the top of that tree there were different worlds. And when you reached the top of the tree, you never knew what world was going to be there. It was either a fun world or a scary world or just a nothing happening world. And I think that's what life's like sometimes. We just don't know what's around the corner. But the trick is to never give up. I think sometimes we often think that there's got to be something that we're meant to be doing. You know, doing nothing seems wrong. But you know, we're not really doing nothing. We sit there sometimes and we think, okay, what will I do today? Well, there are lots of things. And sometimes we have to make I don't call it an effort, just make the time to do it. Maybe you're older, you're retired. You're a little bit lost. You thought retirement was going to be, well, this great panacea for you, that you could have all this time on your hands. You could do all these wonderful things. Well, that's true. But sometimes retirement can be pretty lonely. You may be in a job that you're high ranking in that job. Suddenly you're just Mr. or Mrs. Average again, or Mr. Average. But that's okay. We often think somebody else has got the life that we want. But the life that we make are our choices. And, thinking back over choices that we've made in the past, some good, some bad, that's where we are. And that's who we are today. So, when you wake up in the morning, go for a walk. Or do something perhaps you haven't done the previous day. Maybe you want to join a club. Maybe you want to go to church, meet people. Or maybe you just want to keep this time on your own where you can try something you've never tried. Maybe a new course of study that you've always wanted to do. Maybe you're artistic. You could join the local theatre club. I don't know. These are things that you have to decide, but don't force it. The time on your own is a growing time. Those years that I spent on that mountain, I recall sometimes I'd sit on one of the large rocks on the top of the mountain, and I just hoped somebody would come up the dirt road that nobody actually knew was there, probably hardly used. Somebody would come and visit, because I was, sometimes we just need people. But then other times I just enjoyed the time on my own, and I think I've learnt to embrace that and to recognise it. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with taking your time and doing some new things that you haven't done before, or setting some realistic goals for yourself, if that's what you want to do. But don't be too hard on yourself. It's all seasons. And I think the great thing about life is we don't know what's around the corner. Sometimes it might be a challenge. Other times it might be something that brings us a lot of joy. Anyway, interested to hear your comments. And if you're on your own at the moment, I'm sort of with you. And I can understand how sometimes you might get a little down. But I want to encourage you. This is the time that you can really even mature. Doesn't matter if you're 60 or 70, These things, we might think we're mature, but, when we're tested, and these are the times that we overcome adversity, or loneliness or not knowing what we're going to do with our lives. But believe me, there's an answer coming. And there'll be a new season. So, I said I was in tropical North Queensland. I don't want the video to be too long, but I'll share with you how I got here, what I'm doing with myself. And a little question I have for myself is, should I go and renew my pilot's license? That was something I was thinking about, talking about extending yourself and new seasons. I mean, I used to do a lot of flying, but 71, thinking to myself, am I a bit old? I don't know. What do you think? Should I renew it? Start doing some flying again? Or is it safer just to sort of walk around the block, keep my feet on the ground? All good. Okay, catch you later, and stay safe and keep happy. See you later.